You're watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is Wake Up Idaho.
At a very high level overview, at around 1:50 this afternoon, officers responded to reports of shots being fired at the Boise Mall.
Yesterday afternoon, a man armed with a gun entered the Boise Towne Square Mall. Boise police confirmed 2 people died. 5 more were injured in the gunfire. That includes the shooter and a police officer. We are getting right into the latest on that deadly shooting. Now, this is where the shooting happened. Boise Towne Square is between Milwaukee and Cole, just off the connector if you're new to the area. And witnesses we spoke to say shots were fired right near the Macy's store inside. Our Doug Petcash is in the Boise Mall, outside the Boise Mall right now. And Doug, what was the scene and what is the scene there now this morning? Is there still a police presence out there? I assume there is.
Oh yeah, there definitely is still a police presence, Maggie, but it's vastly smaller now than it was yesterday when there were dozens of cars from multiple agencies, including Boise PD and Ada County Sheriffs and others. There is a mobile command post still set up about 100 yards or so behind our camera here where the Boise police are set up. The investigation is still ongoing inside here as well. Investigators still going over and collecting evidence in this investigation that could take a good part of the day today at least, because the scene is pretty large. Now, Boise police say that the shooting happened inside and outside the mall. And when they first got the reports that when they were arriving that there was at least 1 person shot. And then as they pulled into the mall, police say that they saw a person who matched the shooter's description outside near the Dave & Buster's on Milwaukee. Both sides began shooting, they say, resulting in the suspect and an officer being injured. BPD, as you mentioned, Maggie, says the shooter is in critical condition. The officer was treated and released from the hospital. Also important to note, Boise police say they believe this was an isolated incident and that there is no threat to the community. A separate investigation by the Critical Incident Task Force will look into the officer-involved part of this shooting as well. That will be led by the Meridian Police Department. Our Katya Stepovic was here all afternoon yesterday and into the evening, and she said that when, just moments after she arrived, she saw people in tears, people calling loved ones, really shaken up. And as we've been reporting, tragically 2 people did die. And she reports now after talking with witnesses on what they had to say about what they saw and heard.
It's slow, mall's dead, no one's in her store, and then I just hear a bunch of shots going off.
I work at Wetzel Pretzel, and I was washing dishes, and all of a sudden I hear this bat, 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 really loud, and you could tell instantly it was gunfire.
Back-to-back 11 shots, boom, 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 boom.
She was like, there's an active shooter, stay locked down.
We were just getting ready to check out, and we heard 4 or 5 shots, and we hit the ground immediately. And then the cashier, she hit the ground with us and started kind of crawling away. And then we heard another 4 or 5 shots. And she goes, come with me. And she took us and hid us into one of their closets that have a code on it.
What was going through your mind?
What if they get through that door?
Yeah.
We're dead.
Owner, employee, security guard, or customer. Around 1:50 in the afternoon at the Boise Mall, minds raced and people dropped to the floor.
My friends and I were drinking and having food at Old Chicago, just paid our bill. And then we saw a bunch of people running out of the main entrance. Look like they were panicked, looking back. And that's when security pulled up and said there's an active shooter. And then got on the loudspeaker and told people to leave the building.
Instantly, like, my heart rate's going, a little scared, not gonna lie.
Just saw mobs of people running.
Definitely some panic in people's eyes.
Native Idahoans, first-time visitors, or lifetime shoppers all shared something in common Monday, a fear for their lives.
We live in Illinois, like 3 hours away from Chicago, where it's more expected. So, you don't expect for it to happen here.
For people in the mall, after shots rang out, an hour and a half of hiding felt like a lifetime.
Finally, we heard somebody knocking on the door and yelling, state police, I thought they were saying. And we didn't even answer because who knows if it was real or not.
How are you feeling right now?
Scared to death. I actually want to get on the plane and go home.
Stranger or native to the Gem State, the deadly act came as a complete shock and an act that will never be forgotten, an act that people say is not their Idaho.
There was a casualty right there in front of me, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, why? I'm just questioning it all.
Like, why? really. Why?
To think that there was someone there with a gun that just wanted to kill people or whatever the situation be is just, it's crazy. It's crazy to be put in that situation.
Like, this is Boise. This doesn't very happen, really ever, so.
When I saw the news starting to break yesterday afternoon, the first question that ran through my mind was, here? This happened here? With 7 people involved in this, 2 people dead, the shooter and an officer injured, and 3 others as well. We don't know their identities, and Boise police have said that they're not going to release any more information about the victims at this time. Katya, you were here all yesterday afternoon, and just talking to that one woman who was in a closet for an hour and a half, I just can't imagine the terror.
Yeah. And she, she even told me she didn't want to open it because she didn't believe that they were saying, Boise police. She thought this could be the shooter kind of disguising himself.
Right.
Could you imagine, sitting behind a door wondering if you're going to die within seconds?
Yeah.
And that was the case all around. I mean, everyone yesterday was running for their lives thinking that this could be it. Just shopping about, Christmas shopping, enjoying a mall trip to the family. I mean, it's a hard pill to swallow.
2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. And you talked to a lot of people besides the ones that did go on camera, and similar stories, huh?
Similar stories, and I will say a lot of people, rightfully so, didn't feel comfortable going on camera. Just remembering the sound of the shots and the escalator glass breaking from the bullets from the shooter. This was traumatizing, and I think people will never forget this. But many people just happy that they walked out alive yesterday. But we can't forget those 2 that didn't get to sleep tonight, and those families that are mourning.
Yeah, and we definitely want to send out our most positive and best wishes to the families at this difficult time, and our condolences, of course, as well. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to hear from Boise Police Chief Ryan Lee and Boise Mayor Lauren McLean, who is really praising shopkeepers for helping to protect a lot of people. We'll hear what she has to say about that coming up at 6:30. Maggie.
Absolutely. We have to mention them. Heroes, closing gates, helping people hide, just incredible people there at the mall helping customers get to safety. A lot of heroes there. Well, Boise Towne Square Mall will be closed today. Brookfield Properties, the owners of the mall, sent us this statement yesterday. We are heartbroken and we are working closely with the Boise Police Department as they investigate the circumstances that led to this terrible tragedy. We're grateful for their quick response and their continued partnership. This is devastating for our entire community. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families and friends during this unimaginable time. Again, out of respect for the community, the mall will be closed today. Our Brenda Rodriguez is here with us now. She tells us about a mom who was inside the mall with her kids, her mom, her nanny, when this shooting started. I cannot imagine, Brenda. Tell us about her.
Yeah, so there were hundreds of people inside the mall at the time of the shooting, including Amanda Desson. So Amanda was the mom with 2 children and their nanny. She was just 2 stores down from Macy's when she heard the gunshots ring out.
I didn't know what was going on because it sounded like balloons were popping. And I was looking down at Macy's and then it pop, 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 pop. And so, my son and my mom grabs my son off the thing and she dives into the other store. And then my au pair grabs my daughter and goes into Victoria's Secret. So I go into Victoria's Secret. And so we waited and then I heard police. And so I peeked my head out. I shouldn't have done this, but I did. I peeked my head out and that there was a bunch of police down on the Macy's and there was a man laying there. But it's also pretty jarring that happened because it was Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the mall in Boise.
And we heard so many people saddened by what happened yesterday. And we also heard from our Idaho elected officials, Boise Mayor Lauren McLean and Governor Little. Take a look.
Never should one have to, or does one expect, when they're saying goodbye to their loved one who's headed to work, who's headed out to shop, and that they'll get a call like they did today.
Yeah, so our Idaho is now about coming together as a community to support our neighbors who are hurt, and our heart goes out to everyone involved in this horrible shooting.
It sure does. All right, thank you, Brenda, for that. And right now, we're going to change gears a bit. We're going to get to our weather with Larry. A record amount of rainfall yesterday, Larry?
Yeah, we I mean, for that particular date we did, it was 38/100ths of an inch, and it did set a record for that date. Just on Friday, we had about 39/100ths of an inch. Well, that was not a record for that date. There was still a large amount. If you consider that we always think about like 0.05 as being a big amount, now we're talking about like almost 0.4, 2 times out of this storm. But it was really because of the lingering showers that we had. 43 degrees, 89% for the humidity, and of course your live storm tracker 7000 showing us much except some very widely scattered, just a few little sprinkles out into the Canyon County area, a little bit in Owyhee County, but for the most part, everything is going to get a chance to dry through the day today, but more showers are on their way out of the west coast. And what it is it's the rest of that system. It's a secondary wave, just a final wave that's going to come through. Most of that system from that atmospheric river has gone through and is out of here. Now what we're going to be looking at as we go into this afternoon with your 7 First Alert Futurecast, our computer model, it's going to give us the timing. You see this is going to be some clouds and some showers that are going to come through about 4:30 this afternoon. It doesn't last for long. Then it moves on, and we're going to be looking at just maybe some chances of some showers overnight, a little bit of that, and then we're going to get more drying and clearing as we go into the next few days. Well, forecast for today in the Magic Valley does show that we'll have just mostly cloudy skies. You may have noticed in the Futurecast that it misses all of this moisture. Temperatures into the 40s. A bit of sunshine for the central mountains. They're definitely missing some of this moisture, but there's going to be a 60% chance a rain and snow mix in the higher elevations. Some rain showers for the valleys. We'll have rain down in the valleys as well with temperatures into the 50s, so a little bit warmer than yesterday, but not by much. 52 degrees for your daytime high, still well below that normal range of 59. Your 7 First Alert 7-day forecast, well, we're going to get some drying after this, going to get some warming into the 60s, and then close to normal for next week.
All right, Larry, thank you. 6:11. We're going to get to some other news headlines right now. 2 men are dead after a shooting in Ontario, Oregon. Malheur County District Attorney Dave Goldthorpe said on Sunday night that county dispatch received reports of multiple shots fired at the Rosewood Apartments. That is just south of the Albertsons there. 2 men were dead when police arrived on scene. The men were later identified as 38-year-old Martin Esteban Navarro and 48-year-old Christian Holman. Goldthorpe said, quote, "There is no reason to believe this is a random act, and the crime appears to have been personal in nature. As of now, no arrests have been made, but we are following this story. We're going to keep you posted as we learn more." Also in Oregon, Portland continues to see unprecedented violence, setting new records over the weekend. A man and woman killed Sunday morning are the 71st and 72nd homicides this year there. Their deaths sent Portland past its grim record of 70 homicides set in 1987. In Sunday's early morning shooting, police arrested Michael Van Domelen at the scene. He now faces first-degree murder charges. A family in Horseshoe Bend is left shocked after finding their pet goat had been killed over the weekend. One of the family members say they found the goat Saturday on their property, but the goat was not moving. They went to check on the goat. They found bullet holes in the goat's head and body. The family also says they found dog tracks in the dirt, but the family says they do not own a dog. So the family is now offering $1,500 for anyone who comes forward with information that leads to a conviction. The Boise County Sheriff tells KTVB this is an open investigation. It appears the culprit could be charged with a felony if caught. Well, next time you need a rest stop south of Hagerman, Idaho, it might not be available to you. ITD closed a rest stop on Highway 30 because of vandalism. In a statement, they say our toilets, our sinks, our mirrors have been both stolen and destroyed. They're not sure of the exact price tag of all this damage. They say it will be in the thousands of dollars. Landscaping was also destroyed when someone drove up on the grass there. ITD says they're exploring the possibilities of placing portable toilets in the area. The Gooding County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incidents. Well, it was a very scary situation yesterday at the Boise Towne Square Mall. The community is still reeling after hearing about what happened inside when that gunfire began. Coming up in our next half hour, we're going to hear more from that woman who captured some of the gunfire while she was taking a video of herself. She's going to tell us what she experienced, and we're going to have the latest on what happened in that shooting. We have more on Wake Up Idaho when we come back. All right, now let's get to the very latest on COVID-19 here in Idaho. It is 6:16 right now. The state reported 1,090 new confirmed and probable cases of the virus yesterday, along with 15 new deaths. That brings the statewide death toll to more than 3,400. Some good news here. Hospitalizations are going down. Right now, 538 people are hospitalized with COVID. That's still a really high number, but it is down from the high of 793 hospitalized about a month ago. On the vaccine front, more than 54% of eligible residents ages 12 and older are fully vaccinated. More than 82,000 people have received that additional booster shot. The Biden administration announced yesterday that it does plan to increase the availability of rapid at-home COVID-19 tests for Americans, while also making them a lot more affordable. It's all part of a new $70 million program that will help manufacturers produce data needed as part of the regulatory process here. Experts say these tests can be really helpful for people during what some predict may be a bad flu season for us. Symptoms for the flu and COVID can often be similar, and these tests can help families distinguish between the two at home. This all comes as the Biden administration is expected to finalize a rule requiring businesses with more than 100 employees mandate vaccines for all employees or face weekly testing. Today, an FDA panel will meet to consider approving the Pfizer COVID vaccine for use in kids over the age of 5. The drug maker says its vaccine is more than 90% effective in that age group. And if all goes according to plan, children could start getting their first doses early next month. NBC's Chris Pallone has more on that.
As an FDA advisory panel meets, states across the country are finalizing plans to give the Pfizer COVID vaccine to young children.
In just a few days' time, millions of parents all across the United States should be able to breathe a sigh of relief.
Nearly 30 million kids from 5 to 11 could soon become eligible. Pfizer says its 2-dose pediatric shot is more than 90% effective.
I feel like it's almost like a social responsibility to be vaccinated, because if you're not vaccinated, then there's a chance that you could pass the disease on to somebody else, maybe someone older.
But a recent poll shows only 30% of parents are planning to get their children vaccinated right away.
I think honestly, a solid year of testing and people, really working out the kinks in it will do us better.
But despite the hesitancy from some,
All right, let's go make it a great day.
Doctors say vaccinating the young will keep schools open and help prevent community outbreaks.
In our system, there are 8 kids hospitalized in the ICU with COVID-19. I mean, it's just incontrovertible that this set of vaccines is effective. It is proven to be safe, much safer than the risk you run of letting your kid get COVID and rolling the dice.
A final decision could come next week. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
A drug maker, Moderna, has also announced that early data shows its vaccine produces a strong immune response in that age group as well, 5 and up. For Pfizer's vaccine, we'll keep you posted on what happens with that today. Health organizations still advise people to wear masks to help protect you from COVID-19. After the break, our Verified team explains how face masks are actually really hurting the environment right now. We're going to take a look at that. You can only imagine with so many of us wearing them. And Larry will be back to break down your full weather forecast. That's coming up in about 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Well, when it became clear the coronavirus was a worldwide threat, health organizations advised everyone to wear face masks to slow the spread, and we're still doing that. Our National Verified team explains how those same face masks that are meant to help us are now actually hurting the environment on a global scale.
Since the start of the pandemic, face masks have become part of everyone's daily lives, and now you see them just about everywhere. The nonprofit marine conservation group Oceans Asia estimated that approximately 52 billion disposable face masks were made in 2020. The group predicts that nearly 2 billion of those masks will end up in oceans around the world. This led some people to ask if disposable masks can be recycled. So let's verify. Can disposable face masks be placed in everyday recycling bins? Our sources are the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the Marine Conservation Group Oceans Asia, Tom Zaki, the Chief Executive Officer of the global recycling company TerraCycle, and David Biederman, CEO of Solid Waste Association of North America. According to the Oceans Asia report, disposable masks can take close to 450 years to fully break down. Since there are several types of disposable face masks on the market, we're going to focus on the disposable medical face masks. In a press release from March 2020, the EPA said masks should not be tossed into recycling bins, and NOAA agrees.
Like any other type of trash, they need to be
put in a secure trash can so they can be disposed of properly.
However, these masks can actually be recycled. In the US, there are several recycling companies that, for a fee, will drop off a box and will pick it up once the box is full of disposable face masks. CEO of TerraCycle, a company that turns hard recycled items into raw materials, explains.
We first shred them so we can separate them into the three basic material types that they're made from. You have non-woven plastics, you have metals, which is again usually the nose thing, and then elastomers, which is the band and the stretchy part that goes around the face.
Zaki explained the raw materials are not used to make new face masks. For example, the rubber strings that go around your ears.
Those are ground and then can be used in flooring applications or different, typically surface applications.
But David Biederman of Solid Waste Association of North America says these masks should stay out of traditional recycling bins.
They're not recyclable in curbside unless the local government has set up the special system that you need to recycle that material.
So we can verify, no. Disposable face masks cannot be placed in everyday recycling bins. There are some companies that do repurpose disposable masks. The process is complex, costly, and non-existent in most communities. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
And we have more Verify coming your way. Debunked post circulated yesterday here in our community on social media. After the shooting, it provided a lot of false information. We're going to break down those details and ask people to delete it if you did in fact share it and help our police department out. But before that, Larry's coming back after the break. He's going to break down your weather forecast. 6:25 is the time, 43 degrees outside. Right now, let's get to traffic, and we're going to show you what's happening out there. Things are moving along pretty slowly there at I-84 and 10 Mile. We have some cars pull over to the side of the road as well. Not sure if that's an accident or what, but it isn't causing any delays, as you can see. Let's get to Larry right now and talk about the wet conditions out there on the roadway.
It is indeed some wet conditions because we did have some overnight showers in some locations. There really has not been much since about midnight, but we are looking at some drying for today. But the main portion of the country is fairly dry. We do have some showers that are going along portions of the east. These are very strong showers. They're going to be hitting this area, but also we do have additional showers. We have a last wave. The major portion of this system, this atmospheric wave of rain, this river of moisture that we knew was coming through is gone. That's moved on, and it's moving on into the midsection of the country. It's even producing some snow along some of the Continental Divide, but we have a final wave that will come through this afternoon, and a little bit of that will hang around into tonight, then should be gone. Your 7 First Alert Futurecast computer model shows about 4:30 this afternoon. That's when that's going to come through, and then we'll see a little bit more into like the evening hours. It moves on after that into Wednesday. We're going to be seeing some breaks. We get some dry. We even get more sunshine for Thursday, Friday, looking pretty good. And of course, we're going to be seeing warming temperatures out of that too. All right, forecast for today in the Magic Valley looks like this. Mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s, some low 50s. Even the overnight temperatures will start to improve a little bit. We're not warming that much. We're still below normal. In fact, as most areas are still off by maybe just a little bit below normal, not that much. But we will be looking at temperatures that will be that for the central mountain areas, but some sunshine. Now, overnight will be quite a bit colder because of the clearing that we're going to get into the sky. So it's all that clearing and the clouds moving out, it does get quite cold, dropping down into the 20s, but there's no showers associated with that. For the west central mountains, we will see a rain and snow mix during the day, but with the cloud cover, we don't see a lot of change in temps once again. So it's going to be in the 40s, it'll be 30s overnight, so no accumulation of snow, but the freezing level does come down around 5,500 to 6,000 feet. So some of the mountain areas around there will get some snow. And of course, rain showers for some of the valleys. Now, temperatures will be into the 50s for the valleys. We should actually be in the upper 50s, so we're still going to be cooler than normal temperatures. And then around the Boise area, 52, that's 7 degrees cooler than the normal high of 59 degrees. But we do expect to see those showers again, 60% chance into this afternoon and a little bit overnight. Your 7 First Alert 7-day forecast, that shows that daytime highs are going to be warming. We're going to get more sunshine, temperatures into the 60s, and we're going to get a little bit of that sunshine coming through. When we cool into the first of next week, that's actually very close to normal for daytime highs. Stick around. We got your top stories and more on the way.
This traffic update is sponsored by Public Health. Help keep your student in school by choosing to vaccinate and practicing COVID-19 safety measures. Learn more at coronavirus.idaho.gov.
You're watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is Wake Up Idaho.
Yesterday afternoon at the Boise Towne Square Mall, a gunman walked into the building and began shooting. 2 people lost their lives. Another 5 were injured. That includes a police officer who, by the way, has been treated and released, and the shooter, who is now in critical condition. Now, this is where the shooting happened, the Boise Towne Square Mall. It's right between Milwaukee and Cole, just off the connector. For those of you who have recently moved to the area, this is the location of the mall. Now, witnesses we spoke to say shots were fired near the Macy's store inside the mall. Boise police say the shooting actually happened inside and outside. They responded to early reports that at least one person was already shot when they got there. As they pulled into the mall, police say they saw a person who matched the shooter's description outside near the Dave & Buster's there. Both sides began shooting at each other. That resulted in the suspect and an officer being injured. Now, BPD says the shooter, as I mentioned, is in critical condition this morning. The officer has been treated and released from the hospital. Many of you were wondering about that officer, so there is the update. Now, it's important to note, Boise police say they believe this was an isolated incident. There is no threat, they say, to the community right now. A separate investigation by the Critical Incident Task Force is going to look into the officer-involved shooting. That will be led by the Meridian Police Department. That's another investigation here. Our Doug Petcash and Katya Stepovic are live there at the mall right now. And the 2 of you are out there this morning. What does the scene look like, and when do you think we'll start seeing some police activity out there this morning?
Right now, Maggie, there are a few police officers here, a few units that have been patrolling around the parking lot of the entire mall, and also, stopping in front of the Macy's location here and checking things out. But Katya did learn a little bit earlier from some officers who are here at the command post that's about 100 yards behind our camera of what might happen a little bit later this morning.
Yeah, 2 lieutenants from the Boise Police Department came over and kind of just let us know that they are still surrounding the perimeter. Investigators are still doing their job inside, but that's going to largely pick up around 7 o'clock, and they'll continue that investigation, and we'll probably be here for the majority of the day today.
That's right. And again, the mall is closed today for the investigation. Also, the mall owners saying out of respect for the victims in this case as well. The shooting happened about 2 o'clock yesterday, a little bit before 2 o'clock. At 4:30, Boise Police Chief Ryan Lee held a news conference to update us on what he knew at that time. And here's what he had to say.
I cannot stress enough how traumatic this event is for the community at large, as well as for those that were witnesses or the families of those involved are involved themselves. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, as well as a tactical incident. We really cannot, at this time, speak to any motivation behind it or anything else that may impact the investigation. It would be entirely too premature to make any of those assumptions.
The investigation is ongoing. At last word from Boise PD, the shooter is still in critical condition. Now, Boise PD says the officer that was injured has been released from the hospital. Boise Mayor Lauren McLean also spoke yesterday after the deadly shooting. She expressed her gratitude for the shopkeepers who helped keep strangers safe from the gunfire.
As we think about those that were hurt today, my heart goes out to those who sheltered in place, those who saw this crime, those who weren't sure if they'd see a loved one again, or who knew that they had someone they cared about in the mall. I am deeply, deeply sorry for the pain and trauma that you've experienced. No one should have to experience that pain and trauma.
Again, the shooter is in custody, and Boise police say there is no threat to the community at this time.
Amanda Dunson was inside the mall when the shooting started. She says she had no idea what was happening when it all started. Then she heard gunshots.
I tell everybody Idaho's so safe. That's why I love it. And this was really bizarre. I never thought my hometown, like my place, my mall.
Such a tragedy. 2 people killed in this shooting incident, 5 others injured, including a Boise police officer who we've said has been released, and the shooter. Also 3 other victims. Boise police at this time saying they won't be releasing any more information about the victims.
Yeah. And I think what Amanda just said right there, you know, we can't reiterate it enough. This is Idaho, this is Boise. You never expect something like this to happen. I mean, people moving here from all over the country because this is a safe place. People coming here to Christmas shop, you know, do their daily errands, and never would expect this to happen. I mean, from the people that I spoke with today or yesterday, feels like all one day, they're just traumatized. They don't want to come back here, and they're worried, and to fear for their lives doing something that is part of a daily routine for some people is terrifying, especially to work here as well.
Got to keep the victims' families in our minds as well. Maggie?
Yes, we are thinking of those victims and the injured this morning, of course. And we do want to mention that mom, she was with 2 of her kids, her own mother, and her nanny there. So, you know, having your kids with you in that situation, you can only imagine. We want to verify something for you right now. This is really important. After yesterday's shooting, a post began circulating on social media in our community. Many of you sent it to me, claiming that multiple suspects were involved in this incident, and this post also claimed the other suspects were preparing to attack nearby areas in our community after the first suspect was apprehended. We want to be very clear here. This is false information. The Meridian Police Department says this claim is not true. It is debunked. The Meridian Police posted this on Facebook with false information pasted across it. They say these types of posts are frustrating. They only stretch our resources even more. MPD added, if you have information, please contact local law enforcement so we can investigate valid threats before you share them. Do not post this information on social media. It just sends panic throughout our community. So if you did share that, I know a lot of you are deleting it now because you know this is not true. This has been debunked. This is false information. Brenda is here now with more reactions from the community about this deadly shooting. And really, it's just a lot of people surprised. Yes, this has happened in so many other states, but we've always been isolated from this.
Right. Yes. No, in an effort to unify the community, we heard from many state officials, including Senator Mike Crapo and the city of Nampa. Senator Mike Crapo took to Twitter saying, in part, my heartfelt thoughts and prayers go out to everyone impacted by today's senseless violence. I join all of Idaho in expressing our appreciation for law enforcement officers and first responders who bravely and rapidly responded to the situation unfolding at the Boise Towne Square Mall. Senator Risch said in a tweet he is monitoring the situation at the Boise Towne Square Mall, saying, in part, Vicky and my prayers are with all those involved, including our heroic law enforcement officers and first responders at the scene. Mike Simpson said, quote, while we await more information, our heart goes out to those affected by the Boise Town Center Mall. We appreciate our heroes in blue and pray for everyone involved. And lastly, the city of Nampa's mayor, Debbie Kling, said in a tweet, quote, our thoughts and prayers go out to those impacted by the shooting at the Boise Mall. We are extremely thankful to all the first responders for their quick action to protect the community. What a tragedy. And our hearts really go out to everyone involved in this horrible shooting.
It really is just heartbreaking to think of what happened yesterday. And it's time now for more of our top stories right now. We're going to get to those in our morning rush. The rain is prompting a warning to stay off the trails in the Boise foothills. Ridge to Rivers announced on Facebook that people should stay off the trails for at least the next several days to allow them to dry. The recent rain has left the trails muddy, and because of that, they're susceptible to damage. Ridge to Rivers says that includes some of the more sandy trails out there. Caldwell is reopening its city buildings to the public after temporarily shutting them down in September when Idaho's healthcare systems went into crisis standards of care. On Monday, November 1st, walk-in service will resume at the Caldwell City Hall, the airport, and the public library. Appointments and online options are still available too, if you're more comfortable with that. The weekly COVID media briefing will be held later today. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare will talk about the latest developments about the virus and vaccines in our state. The meeting is at 2:30 this afternoon, and of course, as always, we're going to bring you updates on our later newscasts and tell you what's discussed. And also today, Governor Brad Little, he is hosting another AARP town hall to answer the public's questions about COVID. The hour-long meeting starts at noon today. You can join by calling the toll-free number 866-767-0637. You can join online by registering. The meeting will also be live streamed on Idaho AARP Facebook page if you want to check it out there. And later this evening, Mayor Trevor Chadwick of Star holding the State of the City address. It starts at 7 p.m. It's at Life Spring Church in Star. That's right down the road from the Ada County DMV. It'll also be live streamed if you'd like to check it out there. Well, 6:43 is now the time. We're going to take a quick look at our traffic situation. The roadways are wet. You can see some raindrops there on the camera at Emerald and Milwaukee. Let's get to Larry and find out more about the weather.
Yeah, we have a couple of sprinkles in a few locations, but in terms of actual rain showers, not very much for today until later on. You know, yesterday we actually had a record amount of rainfall. 3/800ths of an inch was recorded in the Boise area. That's the most ever for that particular date. The previous time it was on Friday, we had like 39/100ths of an inch of rain. That did not set a record on that day, but it just goes to show you how big this storm has been, because in between we had a lot of showers. Yesterday was 3/800ths because of the fact that it started on Sunday night into Monday morning and then went most of yesterday. 43 degrees is where we are right now, 89% for the humidity. We're drying a little bit. We do have some rising pressure out there. That's going to be making some changes. Live storm tracker 7,000. Radars are staying active to the north and around us because that's where we're really seeing most of these showers are just kind of moving around the area. We're also going to be looking at another wave, the final wave. Now this is actually another little weak disturbance, but there's really nothing to stop it, so it's going to be coming through, giving us a 60% chance of showers. But what you'll notice is that we're not going to see very much of that in other areas like the Magic Valley, because as we take a look at our 7 First Alert Futurecast, our computer model, it shows that what will happen is that we're going to be seeing some of these showers coming in towards the western edge about 4:30 this afternoon. See, the Magic Valley is dry, so are some of the mountain areas. Then what we have is just a little bit of some chances of some showers overnight, but then all of that moves out, more clearing and drying through the end of the week. Forecast for today in the Magic Valley looks like this. We're going to be seeing temperatures. They're going to be staying pretty mild. We're going to be looking at them just into the 40s because of the cloud cover. Now there'll be some sunshine, so not bad, into the 40s for the central mountains, but dry conditions. Now the west central mountains have a 60% chance rain-snow mix for the higher elevation, rain for the valleys, and of course we'll be on the cool side because we'll be just into the 50s. We should be in the upper 50s and closer to 60. We're also should be at 59, so we're going to be 7 degrees cooler for the Boise area. Your 7 First Alert 7-day forecast. There's your 60s, warming up a bit and drying out. Stick around. We'll be right back with more news in a moment.
This traffic update is sponsored by Public Health. Help keep your student in school by choosing to vaccinate and practicing COVID-19 safety measures. Learn more at coronavirus.idaho.gov.
Well, one more time, let's get out there, show you what's happening on the roadways. We do have some wet roadways in some parts of the valley. We'll get to Larry in just a bit with more on what to expect today. And now to some Halloween week news. There is only 5 days until All Hallows Eve, but we're just getting started on the Halloween decorations. Yesterday we shared a spooky local attraction. Today we're telling you about another haunted house you can take a trip to if you're feeling brave enough. I don't know if I am. The Hinsey family is at it again with the Haunted Asylum in Meridian. They have 5 new creepy animatronics, 4 new rooms this year. They really go all out. This family makes it a family project. The address is 1085 West Jack Snipe Drive in Meridian, 1085 West Jack Snipe Drive. They are open Thursday to Sunday night this weekend from 6 to 10. It is free, but this family is accepting gently used books for St. Luke's and ICU graduates and canned foods for the food bank. They want to do some good while they entertain you. Now, if you're not up to walking the halls of the Haunted Asylum, you can follow them on Instagram at Wolf Moon Asylum or find them on YouTube. Just search for Wolf Moon Asylum. Kind of spooky. Well, up next, we're going to take a little break to tell you about some good things happening all across the valley. We need it today more than ever. And our picture of the day is from Joe. He took this shot in Emmett, a beautiful sunset while in a break from the storm. Check that out. Isn't that beautiful? You can also share your pictures by sending them our way via text. Here's the number on your screen.
This traffic update is sponsored by Public Health. Help keep your student in school by choosing to vaccinate and practicing COVID-19 safety measures. Learn more at coronavirus.idaho.gov.
All right, one more check-in on traffic to show you what's happening out there on the roadways. Things are getting more crowded out there. We do have some water on some of the roadways. Larry's going to fill us in on that. Larry, how are things looking out there?
I'm beginning to dry just a little bit more because we haven't had any showers in the last few moments. A little bit out toward the Canyon County area, but we did have some overnight, which is why the roadways, I mean, with the humidity as high as it is, it's very difficult for that to dry. It's still at 89%, so it's not going to dry very quickly. We have rising pressure. We do expect a few more showers by late this afternoon. In other words, it's going to be about 4:30, 5 o'clock. They're going to be 52 degrees, and we'll have 60% chance of seeing those showers. In addition to that, we're going to dry out even more. We're going to get back into the 60s. We're going to warm up a little bit. Looks pretty nice as we head into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, Saturday, Boise State at Colorado State. That's at Fort Collins, Colorado. And it's going to be a nice warm day. Lots of sunshine there. 68 degrees. Kickoff time is at 5 o'clock. A little bit of winds out of the west-northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Maggie?
Yeah, that looks like a great football forecast, Larry, right there. Perfect conditions to play in. Thank you for that. Well, this morning we do want to bring you our good news segment because it's so important to remember that good still happens all the time in our community. We want to celebrate it, especially today. And to kick things off, meet Kyra. Make-A-Wish Idaho granted this 18-year-old's wish for a mini golden doodle. There's that little puppy right there. Kyra named her new puppy Balin, said she's most excited to have a best friend with her all the time. This wish was granted 1 year to the day after Kyra's leukemia diagnosis. Congratulations to her and Balin on that new friendship and a brand new puppy. Over at Woodrow Wilson Elementary in Caldwell, some good news to share. Walmart donated 36 bikes a few weeks ago, and the students there have earned some of them in the first quarter. Thank you to Walmart for donating bikes to this wonderful school. The school said the idea to donate the bikes to our school came from one of our third grade students. His dad works for Walmart, and although the bikes are for younger kids, he knew the students there would really benefit from having that motivation to earn a bike. So thank you to Walmart and that third grader for such a great idea. And are you looking to get Halloween started early? Well, guess what? There's a trick-or-treat event this Thursday in downtown Nampa. The free event starts at 4 p.m. and since many streets will be closed and parking will be limited, you can park for free in the downtown parking garage. Come out in costume for a spectacular time, and of course look for Nampa PD. They will be there to protect and serve and maybe do a little trick-or-treating with you. And if you're looking to stay warm and cozy, but you want a little fright in your life, look no further than Fast Eddie's Tunnel of Terror. This is at the car wash on Eagle Road. The haunted car wash, also a fundraiser. A portion of all the proceeds will go to a great cause. So far, listen to this, they've already met their goal of $5,000 for the Boys and Girls Clubs, and that's only climbing because so many of you are going to this car wash. You can still catch the show. The car wash is open this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And now a message from Eagle Restaurant Baquettes. They posted on Facebook saying how grateful they are for our officers keeping our community safe. They're now offering free lunch or dinner to officers as a treat this week. Thank you to this wonderful restaurant. They told me that they're very sad. When they're sad, they like to feed people. So they want to do that for our brave officers. So thank you, and thank you to all of our local police for everything you do for us.
This traffic update is sponsored by Public Health.
One more time, out we go. Let's show you what's happening with our traffic. Things are moving along well, and we have had some rain showers overnight. Let's get to Larry and find out more about it.
Yeah, for the most part, we're going to be a little bit dry to start the day, but we do expect more showers a little bit later on. We're still into the 40s. We've actually cooled a little bit at 42 degrees. 89% for the humidity. We're a bit dry, but we're trying to dry out. With 89% humidity, it won't dry very quickly. 52 for a daytime high. We expect more showers. 60% chance for this afternoon. Your 7 First Alert 7-day forecast. Now, that's where we got to see more drying conditions, especially as we warm up into the 60s. Be back up above normal, because normal's at 59. You stay warm into the weekend and some sunshine into the first of next week as we cool to about normal temperatures. Maggie?
All right, we're going to get back to our top story right now. A man armed with a gun entered the Boise Towne Square Mall and opened fire yesterday. Boise police have confirmed that 2 people were killed. 5 more were injured in that gunfire. That includes the shooter and a police officer. Now, the mall will be closed today. As Boise police pulled into the mall yesterday, police say they saw a person who matched the shooter's description outside near the Dave & Buster's. Both sides began shooting, resulting in the suspect and the officer being injured. BPD tells us the shooter is in critical condition. We do not have that person's identity. The officer, fortunately, treated and released from the hospital last night. It is important to note here, Boise police tell us they believe this was an isolated incident. There is no threat to the community today, but the mall will be closed. Our Doug Petcash live on scene right now. We're going to bring you live updates with him throughout the morning here on 7.